up, so I want to drain off most of it, not all of it. I do want that flavor. Okay, now I'll move forward with the veggies for the soup. I diced up 3 carrots. I didn't even peel them. I just scrubbed them until they were really clean. And then a good-sized onion, diced it up. And then 3 stalks of celery. You can't go wrong with these 3 things. They pretty much make every soup delicious. Okay, now I'll just stir these around and let them start cooking. Ooh, yum. Okay, now this is potato soup, so I thought it would be appropriate to add some potatoes to the soup. So I've got 6 regular-sized russets, and I dice it pretty fine, and I don't like real enormous pieces of potato. You know, I always say this, but whenever I'm trying to figure out what to cook for Edna Mae, I always think of soup. She and I share a love of pretty much every kind of soup there is. When I had my babies, it seems like Edna Mae always brought me a pot of soup. So I associate soup with Edna Mae. I guess you could call us soup sisters. We have a bond. All right, got all the potatoes diced. So they're just gonna go right into the pot with the rest of the veggies. All right, now I'll just stir this around. Oh boy, does this smell good. Now it needs some seasoning because there are a lot of potatoes in here. So I'll add a good amount of salt and pepper. And then just to give it a little bit of a kick, I'll add about a half a teaspoon of Cajun spice. It's not too spicy, it'll just give it a certain je ne sais quoi. Now these just need to cook for about 5 minutes or so. When the time's up, the next step is to add 8 cups of low-sodium chicken or vegetable broth, bring it to a boil, and cook it for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I'll whisk up some flour and milk, then pour it into the pot. Stir it all in, and continue to cook it for another 5 minutes to thicken it up. This is when it's time to get the toppings ready, so I'll put bacon into baggies and do the same with grated cheddar. Okay, the toppings are all ready, and it appears that the soup is all ready. Oh my gosh. Now you could just serve it right out of the pot as it is, but I like to puree potato soup. I like it to be mostly smooth with some chunks, and also pureed potato soup is better for freezing. Sometimes if you freeze big chunks of potato, the texture isn't very good after you thaw it out. Now, when you're pureeing hot soup, you have to be really careful not to overfill whatever you're pureeing it in. If you put hot liquid into a blender and blend it, it really expands quickly. Okay, I think that's plenty in there. So I'll get the lid on, and then I'm going to turn it on the lowest speed. Okay, that looks great. Perfectly smooth. Now this just goes right back into the pot with the rest of the soup. And then I have just a little more mischief to get into to make this soup really, really decadent. I'll add about 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. Just eyeball it. If I get a little more than that, it's fine by me. All right, now I'll just mince up a little parsley just to give it a little bit of green. All right, and then it just goes in. And this perfect potato soup is done. Okay, this looks absolutely spectacular. Now I just got to ladle it into the containers. Now I'm using these pint pots. They also come in a quart size, but for Edna Mae, I thought this pint size would be just perfect. And then the lid goes on. All right, got one filled. Now I'll keep moving on with the rest. Got the soup, got the yummy toppings. That's one more freezer dish for Edna Mae. Done.